All right, stretch number 1, the glutes. So I'm going to show you first face this way and then facing you. There's something called a figure 4 that people use to stretch the glutes, and I have a little bit of a variation on it. So people will cross their legs like this. They'll pull their hands or put their hands one on either side of the leg that is pointed up towards the ceiling. Put your head back so that your neck isn't strained, and then they pull. I don't find that this quite hits the glutes enough. So what I like to do is I like to grab the foot. I like to put my forearm around this knee, and then pull this knee across to the opposite chest here, like this, okay? And I kind of roll to the side a bit. I move around until I find a position where I'm feeling a maximum stretch, okay? So if you can't see what's going on, I'm going to face the camera now and show you. I've got my hand on my foot and I'm pulling in, and I'm also pushing in with this knee, and I'm pulling across to the opposite chest with my head on the ground, like so, okay? I'm going to hold this for about 30 seconds. And then every 10 seconds, you can take a breath in, out, go a little further. One more, breathe in, out, and stretch a little more. You should feel it get a little more intense each time. You don't want to be yanking so hard that you're stressed. You want to feel comfortably uncomfortable, okay? So you want to feel a stretch, but you don't want it to be too much. Now let's do the other side, okay? What you do on one side, you do on the other side. All right, that's 10 seconds, so breathe in and out, and pull a little more. Good. Breathe in, out, pull just a little more. Excellent. Okay, so that's 30 seconds-ish aside, or until you feel a good stretch. The next one, I'm just going to move back on the mat. I'm going to cross one leg over the other. So basically the ankle of this leg is right by the knee of the opposite leg. I'm going to put this hand right behind me. I'm going to take this arm, put it on the opposite side of the knee, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to push with this hand and push with this hand to try and twist my chest to face that wall. In some cases with this stretch, you may feel your spine adjust. And again, every 10 seconds, I'm going to take a breath in, out, and go a little further. Breathe in, out, and go just a little further. Good. Come out of that slowly. And again, we do on one side, we do on the other. Breathe in, out. Not unusual to feel tighter on one side than the other. Breathe in, out. Breathe in, out. And come out of that slowly. Okay, now from here, I'd like to stretch the muscles in between my legs here. Okay, so what we just stretched there were the muscles that run up and down the sides of our spine. Now my adductors. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you in two different directions. The first thing I want to do here is I want to separate my knees as far as I can get them. So that's what the position looks like front on. Okay, now sideways. that position, as wide as possible. I'm going to round my back, and then I'm going to sit back until I feel a good stretch, and from there I'm going to angle my butt up to the ceiling. It's kind of like arching my back, but not really. I'm trying to turn the butt up. I'm going to sit back more. All right, now that's about 10 seconds there, so I'm going to breathe in, out. I'm going to sit back more and angle my butt up a little bit more. Breathe in, out. Another 30 seconds. Another 10 seconds for a total of 30. Good, almost there. Try and stretch it more and then slowly work your way out of it. Good. Okay. Next is for your hip flexors. People today are notoriously tight in the hip flexors. It's because we sit a lot and they're shortened all the time. So they need to be lengthened. And that's what we're going to do here. So this is a kneeling lunge position. My knees on the ground, my heels on the ground. What I'm going to do here is two things, okay? First, I'm going to put my hands on my waist and I'm going to push myself forward without bending forward, okay? I want to keep my chest out and my shoulder blades retracted, and I want to come forward as far as I can. I'm going to start to feel a stretch right down here. Great. I'm going to take this arm, I'm going to grab it with the other arm. I'm going to twist in towards the knee that's out, and then I'm going to pull over and keep coming forward at the waist as much as I can, okay? So I'm going to do this side facing you, and I'll do the other side sideways to you so that you can see it in both directions, okay? That's about 15 seconds. Take a breath. Breathe out. A little bit further. Breathe in, out, a little bit further. Again, remember, don't be like, really stressing it, okay? Just go until you feel a stretch, till it's comfortably uncomfortable, and then slowly, when you're done, slowly, 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 come out of it, okay? Sideways. I'm going to do the opposite side. Okay, so when I was saying keep your back straight, I mean don't bend forward. Back straight, and I'm going to move forward at the pelvis. Watch what happens. I'm coming forward. Can you see that? Without leaning forward, okay? I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to reach over, grab this wrist, turn in towards that knee, and pull it over. So I'm opening up this side. Let me try and lean forward. Try and keep a neutral spine. Don't let your head crank back. Just keep it nice and straight. Breathe in, out. Go a little further. That was about 10 seconds. Breathe in, out. A little bit further. And a couple more seconds. And good, we're done. Stretching the hip flexors. Come out of it nice and slow. Okay? So we've done 4 stretches so far. Quick recap. We stretched the glutes. We stretched the spinal erectors, adductors, hip flexors. Now I want to do the hamstrings. My personal favorite way of doing this is standing up. Some people disagree with this because they believe you're putting a load against the hamstrings, but I find this is the one that works the best for me. So I want to find a platform of some sort that's relatively stable and higher than the floor. I'm going to put my heel on it, okay? I'm going to bend this back knee so that I have control and I'm nice and stable, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to link my thumbs together like this. And all I'm going to do is, keeping my back straight, I'm going to bend at the waist and I'm just going to lean forward. I don't want to slouch, okay? This isn't helping. I may feel this in the calf too, by the way, okay? But I just want to bend at the waist until I feel a stretch underneath here. Back's nice and straight, spine's nice and straight. That's about 10 seconds. I'm going to breathe in, out, go down a little further. Breathe in, out. further, but remember not to slouch around at the lower back, okay? Come out of that. Now, I'm going to use a chair for the next one, because some of you might find this beneficial. It's a little more stable because it has a back that you can rest your toes against. I might even prefer something like this. So see, I can put my toes and my heel against the chair, right? So, same thing. Locking my thumbs. I don't want one arm longer than the other. I want them equidistant, okay? My back stays straight. I'm just bending at the waist. The idea is not to touch the toes. The idea is to get a good stretch. Breathe in, out. Good. Getting a good stretch on this one, I can feel it. Breathe in and out. Okay, all right. So we're going to do more than 6 stretches, but the next one, our 6th stretch, if you're in a rush, it's kind of okay to stop here because you've stretched all the major areas. I'm going to recommend that you do the rest because the full protocol really is best, but these 6 anyways will serve you well. Okay, the next is the quadriceps. So holding on to something that will stabilize you, like a chair, you want to grab your foot, pull your foot up towards your butt so that your knee moves backwards, kind of lean back a bit. Just hold that. You're going to feel a stretch in the front of your leg. Breathe in and out. Go a little further. Breathe in, out, a little further. Nice and slow. Same thing on the other side. A little tighter here, so it takes me a little more to get in position. All right, good. Stand up nice and tall. Breathe in, out. Pull that heel up towards my butt. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Okay, good. All right. The next stretch I'm going to give you, if you do have time, this one's great, especially if you struggle with sciatica. Okay, this one stretches a muscle called the piriformis, through which most of our sciatic nerves run, or at least it runs very close by to it. So if it's tight and aggravated, it tends to aggravate the sciatic nerve. So what do I want to do here? I'm going to show you in both directions, again facing you and then facing sideways to you. But here, I just want to take, and I'm going to start with my tighter side, which is this one, okay? Now you see when I'm sitting here like this, if this knee is higher than the ankle down here, I probably have a tight piriformis. What I want to do here is I want to sit up straight, hold this foot, put either my hand or my forearm, I find my forearm's better, closer to the elbow, on this knee, and I'm going to press it down. But I'm not going to lean into it. I want to stay straight up and down as I press it down. I'm going to feel a tugging on the outside of this leg. That's okay. That's where you're supposed to feel it. Okay? Just let that stretch for about 10 seconds. You're going to breathe in and out. A little further. Breathe in, out, a little further still. Okay, now that nice and slow. Now I'm going to turn sideways to you. And I'm going to show you my posture from the side. Okay, cross the opposite leg over. Right, now you see how this one sits lower naturally? This side is not as tight as the other one. I've always been tighter on that side. And that's not unusual to be tighter on one side than the other. Hold this foot, Sitting up straight, I'm going to press down here, and notice I'm not slouching as I do it. I stay straight. I don't move from side to side. Nice, good posture. Not like this, not like that. Breathe in, out, a little further. Breathe in, out, a little bit further. Out of that one nice and slow. Okay, good stretching. Now, the next one is a little bit complicated, and I'm going to move the camera so that I make sure that I get the full angle. That should be good right there. Okay, yes. What I want to do here is I want to stretch muscles in my side, my trunk stabilizers called quadratus lumborum. I'm going to open up my hip. I'm going to feel like I'm stretching something called the IT band, but the IT band doesn't really stretch. It's just a big piece of tendon and isn't very flexible. So, but I might feel it in my hip. And I also want to stretch my lat. Okay, so lat, QL, IT band, all three in one. What I do is I have my foot probably about, I don't know, I'm going to say 45 to 50 centimeters, and it's going to vary depending on how tall you are, which is 1.5-ish to 2 feet, away from, let's assume that this is a doorway, okay? All right, so there's a door on this side that's open, and I'm holding the door jamb, all right? Or if you have a post in your house, great. Okay, now I'm going to cross the foot that's closest to the doorway. I'm going to cross it on the other side here. I'm going to drop my hand, reach over, grab the top of the door jamb. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to thrust my hip out, and I'm going to rotate backwards. So I'm going to take this elbow and I'm going to try and move backwards at the same time. Okay? So I'm opening up the lat and my trunk stabilizers at the same time. Just keep breathing normally. It's about 10 seconds. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. All right, come out of that nice and slow. Forgive me for turning my back to you as we do the other side. Okay, so opposite. Outside foot is about 50 centimeters away from the door jamb. Inside foot crosses over the outside foot. My lower hand drops down here. My upper hand is high up on the door. Stick my hip out, and I'm going to rotate my shoulder back towards the camera as I keep sticking my hip out. And a little more. Breathe in, out, just a little more. And come out of that one nice and slow. Okay, so I'd like to stretch the calves out too. And I'm going to give you 2 stretches for the calves, all right? First one is like this. So I kind of take a split squat stance, but I keep my back heel on the ground. And all I'm going to do here, pressing against a wall, is I'm going to lean further forward into the wall while keeping this back leg straight. I'm going to start to feel a stretch in my calf. I feel it a lot. You may not. And by the way, in any of these stretches, if you don't feel them, you may not be tight. That's 10. Breathe in, out. Just a little more. Breathe in, out. A little bit more, a little bit closer to the wall. Awesome. Come out of that one nice and slow. Let's just change sides, okay? So breathe in and and out. Breathe in and out. A little bit closer to the wall, keeping that back heel on the ground, don't forget that. Breathe in and out. Okay, come out of that nice and slow. All right. Now, this last one, what I want you to do is I want you to put your foot against the wall and your heel on the ground. Your foot's angled at about 45 degrees. And all you're going to do here is with your hands on the wall, push your knee into the wall without letting your foot slide down or your heel slide back, okay? Just do that until you feel a nice stretch. It's about 10 seconds right there. Breathe in and out. Pushing your knee in a bit more each time. Breathe in, out. And push the knee in closer to the wall even still. Come out of that nice and slow. Same thing on the other side. And I can feel this one's tighter, okay? Breathe in, out. Knee in towards the wall. Even here, try and remember your posture. I just caught myself bending over, okay? Breathe in and out. Push your knee in a little closer to the wall. Remember, you don't want the foot sliding down like this, okay? Breathe in and out. Push the knee in a little closer. Okay. All right, I said I was going to give you 2, but I'm actually going to give you 3 because there's 2 different calf muscles. The first one gets one of them. The second one gets the same one and kind of the second one. The third one gets the second one. Okay, so all you're going to do here is you're going to go into a kneeling lunge position. Okay, and I just want you to stay up straight. Come forward like this. Okay, you start to feel a stretch in your calf. But keep your heel on the ground. Breathe in and out. Coming a bit more forward each time. Breathe in, out, a little bit more forward. Out of that one. Now, I'm pretty sturdy on my feet. You may not be. So feel free to use something to brace yourself with. Okay, so as we do the other side, you can brace yourself here. Okay. Ideally, the heel, I didn't say this in the first one, but the heel of this foot should be just in front of the knee. Or the heel of the foot on this leg should be in front of the knee on the opposite leg. And again, come forward, okay? For me, I'm actually going to have to move it out a bit more. You may have to move it until you feel a stretch. Everybody's mechanics are different. I feel a stretch there, that's good. I want to keep that heel on the ground. It's about 10 seconds. Breathe in and out. Just come a little bit further forward. Breathe in and out. A little bit further forward. All right, come out of that one slowly. And there you go, that's a full stretching protocol for your lower body.